Hello, my name is Jim Webb, owner of the WebbWorks Video Productions. Here in Webb's World, as I like to call it, we offer affordable video production services and multimedia consultation. We have our own in-house studio set up, complete with professional cameras, green screen, lighting, and an edit suite. In addition, we're capable of bringing the studio to you if you aren't able to come to us. Give us a call at 813-817-9840 or visit our website at www.thewebbworks.com and let us tell your story with a wonderful video production. Thanks for watching, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Welcome everyone to the Lawrence A. Martucci Benefit, our 2020 virtual Venetian Masquerade. Isn't this mask amazing? More on that in just a moment. I'm Linda Hurtado and I anchor the noon, the 4, and the 5 o'clock news at Fox 13. I am also a cancer survivor, and like all of you, I'm also dealing with life changes thanks to this new COVID-19 reality. I want to first thank you all for your support even through this pandemic. Nonprofits are really taking a big hit this year. No fun in-person events. People are going through hard times and may not be able to give as generously as they have in the past. But I still think it's important for us to get together like this and enjoy an evening while talking about how we can still help kids with cancer. COVID did not stop cancer. It didn't make cancer go away. It didn't make it any less important. And as a cancer survivor myself, I know the struggle of surgeries and recovery. I had 3 surgeries in 1 year. So now imagine being a child in the hospital with only one parent allowed in due to COVID, spending hours alone, worried about getting COVID while fighting cancer. I'm really sad for these kids, but we can help make it better. I spent over 10 years as a medical reporter in the Tampa Bay area, and that's how I met Luana Martucci de Paloma and Dr. Cameron Tebby and Mary Ann Masolio from One Voice Foundation. They are making a difference, from raising money to researching a cure for childhood leukemia. I mean, can you imagine a vaccine for childhood leukemia, to helping parents with necessities so they can be with their children who are sick? We can help them. So let's get this masquerade started. I'll start with a big thank you to Cozy Rioso, who made this wonderful mask. I think it's just amazing. And this is just the beginning. We really have a great show in store for you. You'll be receiving some discount codes to stores and free gifts throughout the presentation, so pay close attention. It's only for our special guests, and it's only for tonight. It's time to get your cooking supplies out. Soon, Luigi Cavallaro of Trattoria Pasquales will be joining us, and he'll be showing you how to make a 3-course meal for 2 with very few ingredients. A special thank you to our host home heroes. Thank you for inviting people into your homes. Don't forget to take pictures throughout the evening and post the pictures to the Lawrence A. Martucci Benefit Facebook page. We can't wait to see them. A special thank you to all of our sponsors for your continued support. We hope you enjoy your evening. And don't forget, we are all going through a pandemic, but many local children are going through a pandemic and cancer. We can't eliminate children's cancer without your help. So now let's hear from the special lady herself, Luana Martucci de Paloma, the president and founder of the Lawrence A. Martucci Benefit.
Welcome all to our first ever Lawrence A. Martucci Benefit Virtual Venetian Masquerade. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Luana Martucci, the president and founder of the Lawrence A. Martucci Benefit Corporation, affectionately called LAM. My late brother Lawrence lost his life to cancer and its harsh treatments at the young age of 6 years old. I was only 14, a freshman in high school. Back then, I felt powerless and didn't think there was anything that I could do to make a difference. After watching my brother through his pain and struggle for 2 straight years, I vowed that one day I would do something to truly honor him. So that brings us to today. 9 years later, we have raised over $500,000 for pediatric cancer research that will one day truly make a difference. This research is not about treatment or even a cure. It's about prevention, a vaccine that will eliminate childhood leukemia forever. Now that's what I call the right kind of research. Treatments only bring more problems, pain, and ultimately can also bring loss of life. Treatments are sometimes worse than the disease. This is why LAM is also dedicated to helping the families that have children going through treatment, paying for medical bills, their electric bills, rent, or mortgage, whatever they may need during this hard time. LAM is 100% volunteer run, so your donation dollars go to the right place. 80% of proceeds go to research, and the other 20% go to help the families. I would like to introduce you to Little Queen Laurel. You will never meet a child more alive and completely present in her day. She's a dancer, a rock star, and a fashionista, but she's also fighting leukemia. She was taken to the ER because of a spiked fever and a double ear infection, so they thought. Her parents knew something was just not right because she didn't even want her fruit snacks or a Kit Kat bar, her favorite. After rounds of antibiotics, her fever still didn't go away. Back to the ER they all went, and after a few pokes and blood work, they were in the ambulance on the way to TGH Children's Hospital, where they spent the next 12 days. Little Queen Laurel went through several more traumatic pokes, and on December 3rd, 2018, little 3-year-old Queen Laurel was diagnosed with leukemia. Once diagnosed, she was in surgery the next day for port placement, and then started a course of chemotherapy treatment. Laurel knew she was a different kind of sick. The steroids were awful. She had to take them for an entire month, and her body grew twice its size. She had leg pain and never wanted to walk very far. The first 9 months of frontline treatment was grueling on the family, and they dreaded the ER visits. They were in the hospital more than at home almost all of 2019. She was such a big kid, though. She took her oral medicine like a champ. She got used to the poke for port access and was always a big charmer, being silly and singing songs to the top of her lungs. Little Queen Laurel's sweet, rambunctious, spunky spirit was noticed by all and made everyone instantly love her. Luckily, cancer did not break her spirit. Laurel once asked her mom and dad, "Does everyone in Florida have cancer?" Just imagine what her world must look like for her to ask such a question. Laurel turned 5 on August 2nd. She started kindergarten as a homeschooled child to keep her safe from this pandemic. She's in long-term maintenance phase of treatment, which means daily oral chemo and once-a-month visits to the office for internal chemo. Once every 3 months, she gets chemo put directly into her spine. Something that I always hear from parents over and over again is that they will never forget when they heard the words, "Your child has cancer." This is the story of just one child, but there are 15,000 children in the U.S. and 300,000 children worldwide that get diagnosed with cancer every year. The treatment is awful, the hospital visits are dreaded, and their bodies are poked and prodded. Lawrence A. Martucci Benefit has been working hard to support children's cancer research for the last 9 years. The research we support is research on prevention. One day we will find a vaccine to childhood leukemia and prevent the words, "Your child has cancer," from ever being said again. But we need your help. Unfortunately, research takes time, money, and resources. We need new equipment, new supplies, and the resources to maintain the research until we find this vaccine. Lawrence A. Martucci Benefit also supports the families that have children going through treatment. We directly support the One Voice Foundation and their programs. Children like Little Queen Laurel still need to have the chance to experience all her firsts in a safe environment. First time fishing, first time horseback riding, first time at an overnight camp, and through the over 25 programs that the One Voice Foundation provides to oncology families, she too is able to have her firsts. When I first started this foundation, I thought I was just going to go, do an event, raise money, and give it all to research. I could have never envisioned that it would morph into what it has become today. I know that everyone is going through a really tough time right now, but we refuse to stop fighting for these children because although we are all going through a pandemic, they are going through a pandemic with cancer. To all of you joining us tonight, we hope you enjoy our virtual event. Your support is truly appreciated. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Luigi Cavallaro, chef at Trattoria Pasquale, located in South Tampa, 3671 South West Shore Boulevard. Today I will be preparing something very simple for you. It's a 3-course meal and with very few ingredients. We're gonna do today the bruschetta, we're gonna do the pasta with pomodoro fresco e basilico, and we're gonna do a chicken caprese. We are gonna use the same ingredients, so you can do a whole meal for your guests, or you can do just the bruschetta or just the pasta or just the chicken. Let's go ahead and get it started. We're gonna start first with the bruschetta. I have a baguette here. We're gonna make our crostini. I'm gonna cut it slanted. So the reason why is the crostini is gonna be bigger and better. And I'm gonna put the crostini right here. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil. The salt, a little pepper. And we're gonna put them in the oven. Next, we're gonna do our bruschetta. We're gonna get our tomatoes. We're gonna slice them just like that and dice them. I got a brown knife, but hey, that's the way we roll. And in a metal bowl, we have our tomatoes. We're gonna have some fresh basil. And we're also gonna have a little bit of diced onions. This is the fresh basil. Let's make a little bit more tomatoes. There we go. And this is a very refreshing dish, very light. We're gonna dice them just like that. Now, I'm using those kind of tomatoes. You can also, the cherry tomatoes they have a way better flavor. And voila. A little salt and pepper. A little extra virgin olive oil. This is your bruschetta. Now, certain people like to add onions. You can add the onions or not. I like to add the onions, little diced onions. I think the bread is ready. I'm gonna put it right here. And here we go. And there we go. This is your bruschetta. Very simple. Diced tomato, garlic, fresh basil, salt and pepper, extra virgin olive oil, the crostini. Can use any kind of bread and then toast it a little bit with some extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper. It's a very refreshing dish for your appetizer. When you slice the bread and you put it in the oven, you want it to look like golden brown. Put it at 350 to 375 in a sheet pan, extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper. Give yourself about 5-7 minutes of time in the timer, and then you can check them out. When they're golden brown, you take them out, let it cool off, and they're ready for your bruschetta. Now, the next dish we're going to do is the penne with fresh tomato basil. What we're going to do, we're going to tune the pan up, and we're going to have to cook our pasta. A pound of pasta can feed 3 people. And for this dish, we're still gonna need the tomatoes, and this time we're gonna just cut them in half and in chunks like this. This is a good dish for you guys to do when you have some tomatoes that they start getting some spots or they're some soft. So you just go ahead and chunk those tomatoes just like that. There we go. This most important thing for this dish is the pan is got to be hot. We are going to be putting the pasta in the water. When you cook pasta, remember to salt the pasta, and it's got to taste like is water from the bay. That kind of saltiness. Because if you want to salt the pasta and just put a little bit of a little drop like that, it doesn't make nothing to the pasta. So we put the salt in the pasta. We dump the pound of penne, and we're gonna put this right here. Now the pan is very hot. And we put the garlic in. And we let that thing go for a couple of minutes. We want to get a golden brown. Now we're going to add the tomatoes that we chunked. Little salt, little pepper, we are tasting the pasta. I like to cook the pasta for the restaurant for 5 minutes. The moment you put it down, then you pull it out, and 5 minutes, then I let it cool off by herself. Now this is the sauce that we're making. The next ingredient in there is going to be the basil. However, if I put the basil in right now, it's going to dry out and it's going to get the sauce bitter. The basil, we're going to put it at the end when we put the pasta, because we want to get just the flavor of the basil. In the meantime, we're gonna think about the next dish. We're gonna do a chicken caprese. What happened with my chicken? We're gonna have another pan. Hey, there we go. Thank you, Nico. So, bit of oil. The pasta is almost ready. And we're gonna get our chicken in the pan. Now this is the gluten-free version. We don't put any flour. And so for the people that are gluten-free, that's the way to do it. Little salt, little pepper, so what you guys want to do now, the pasta is almost ready. We are going to divide so the pasta is ready right here. I don't rinse the pasta off. Now, if you're at home, you make the pasta and then you're ready to serve it, that's great. In the restaurants, we have to pre-cook it. 5 minutes and then let it cool off on itself without washing it or rinsing it. So it keeps all of the proteins and all the starch in it. The chicken is, we're gonna tune it the other way around. I do have some white wine right here. So the chicken caprese, we're gonna add I have some fresh mozzarella. And this is going to go right into the oven. We got our pasta, our pre-cooked pasta. Now what we need to do, we're just going to put it right in the water. About 30, 40 seconds. This sauce, those tomatoes are nice and if you have tomatoes from your garden, that's the best way to do it. Or cherry tomatoes. This is also great options. You want to have a little bit of starch from the water. Now is when we're putting our fresh basil in it. I don't like to cut the basil with the knife because it's going to get dark. And I'm going to have some nice Parmigiano. There we go. This basil is I like the basil from my garden. However, this is the dish, the penne with fresh tomato basil. So now our chicken is in the broiler and is almost ready to go. We still have the pasta water boiling. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little vegetable. So I got some broccoli florets. I'm just going to put it in the hot water there. In my pan, some extra virgin olive oil. Little garlic. The chicken is ready. We're gonna go ahead and plate the dish. Now, the broccoli is not on the list. You can use spinach, you can use green beans, you can use zucchini, you can use anything you want as a side order, whatever you like. I just happen to have broccoli, so we're gonna put some of this up here. And this is your chicken caprese with fresh tomato, garlic, basil, and some broccoli on the side. Now, as you can see, with three main ingredients, the tomatoes, the garlic, and the basil, we've created three different dishes. Thank you very much, and I see you next time. Again, I'm Luigi from Trattoria Pasquale, located at 3671 South West Shore Boulevard. Come and join us. Buon appetito. Shake and bake.
First things first, introduce yourself and your story with cancer.
My name is Tara Kushner.
My name is Kristen. I am Skyla Diatorio.
My name is Melissa Gaxter.
My daughter Galina Kushner was diagnosed with LCH at the age of 16 months.
My family was affected by cancer on the second day of kindergarten for my son. My middle daughter, Trinity, was diagnosed at 2 years old with neuroblastoma.
I said later that day at the pediatric ward, everyone came in and told us that she had leukemia.
He went through 2 surgeries in the first week of our diagnosis, and then we were sent for rehab. As it did affect his spine, it affected his walking. As a family, we went straight into kind of reactionary mode. And then the next day, we got a diagnosis of cancer. They just didn't know what kind of cancer it was. In May of 2019, he rang the gold bell, and so he was in remission, and at his 3-month scan, just this past August, relapsed.
Galina, with the steroids that she was on, she just never slept. She was wide awake all the time. We didn't get much sleep during the whole year. With her treatments, she was on steroids, which is a very harsh drug, and Galina definitely had side effects from that, where she was aggressive sometimes. Just mainly, she would hit her head against the wall, and you couldn't stop her. We had to stay home a lot because we couldn't really bring her out. We didn't know when she would just start throwing a tantrum, and if we did go out and it happened, you know, the looks is very hard to be around.
It kind of has you live in this constant state of fear, because people are like, oh, well, she's running around and she's playing today and she's doing great. And it's like, yeah, but if you see us give her daily chemo at night and you see her throw up all over our kitchen, like, that's a lot of what we deal with.
Things are starting to stabilize, and we can start looking forward to her going into school again. Because that was definitely for her the biggest and toughest transition. You know, in North Carolina, she went to school. She had all kinds of friends there that she'd see. And us too, you know, it's kind of limiting for your social life. You know, Josh and I never really saw each other. It was kind of, especially on hospital duty, he's there during the daytime and then we switch out because I'm at work and then I come at night and he can go home and do a few things, kind of decompress. It's like hospital time can be really tough.
Trinity, she will be 4 in about 2 weeks. So we're about 15 months into this fight. It's crazy. It really is one of those where you think, you hear the commercials and the radio of pediatric cancer and you think, oh, never my family, never my family. And then when your child is diagnosed, you very quickly learn how common it is. Even though all of us have different diagnoses, we all share the common thread in that our child is fighting for their life.
A little amount of the total budget of cancer goes to pediatric cancers. They find that it's rare, meaning, you know, they don't see enough cases per year. We get that, but I prefer to think, somebody once said to me, we are unique, not rare, in the sense that it's happening, it's just not happening as profoundly as, say, another cancer. Because of that, there's not a lot of time, money are spent trying to find out why these are occurring, why these instances are happening. And I think the fact that Dr. Tebby and his research is going to lead to a vaccine where hopefully a genetic test is done, and if you find that you have the markers or you're predisposed to something, to be able to take a simple vaccine and know that your child's going to be safe in the future, I can't even find the words to describe how monumental that is.
Dr. Tebby's vaccination would be a great option for families because you never know. Galina's case was super random. It does have nothing to do with family history. So we were never expecting that. So if we had that option, that would be super helpful in the future for sure.
Cancer is not as simple as it sounds, and the treatment is not simple for the family for sure. I always say that cancer in children is a family disease, not a disease of a child himself or herself only. When the parents are in the hospital, the other siblings are affected because the other siblings have their own right to be a child and to be nourished and to be trained and helped to grow up. So they really are affected severely. A lot of time we talk about cure, and I have nothing against the cure. I have worked all my life to cure children. But cure really is not a meaningful word when you are talking about a disease like leukemia. Even if all the side effects go away and there is no danger to the child of secondary cancer or other things, the psychological leftover of the disease is tremendous. And it's not something most children can forget. So we really, in our lab, we don't think cure is what we want. We want to prevent. Admittedly, childhood cancer is a relative rarity, but if you look at the longevity of children, that would make up for it. Fortunately, childhood cancer is not very prevalent. It's relatively rare, But when it's your child, then it's a different story. You will think that the whole world has cancer. The source of money from government, therefore, is pretty limited. State government has even less money to spend, and less of that goes to childhood cancer. The private organizations are the ones that we have to rely on significantly, and that is the case for our lab. We rely on a lot of individual donations, and we are supported by One Voice Foundation.
My name is Marianne Masolio. I'm a pediatric oncology social worker for just about 30 years now here in Tampa. And 3 years into my career as a pediatric oncology social worker, my own 9-year-old son was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma 9 hours after my dad. My son died because of the toxicity of the treatment. So we support prevention, because there's nothing better than putting all of us out of business. If none of us had to work tomorrow in pediatric cancer, we'd all be happy. If my son's protein had been identified at birth and gotten the vaccine, he wouldn't have had to have the treatment. The treatment's what killed him. He died from a fungal. My son was actually cancer-free when he died, but he was on the life support, and that caused him aspergillus. None of that would have happened if he didn't have to receive the treatment, because his immune system was so bad he couldn't fight the infection. So if he was able to be identified at birth and gotten the vaccine, none of that would have happened. He wouldn't have had to go through the treatment. The treatments are so harsh. I mean, you don't have any choice. I mean, you have to treat it, obviously, but to prevent it would have solved the whole problem to begin with. So just to have the ability now that Dr. Tebby has identified protein X, so we know if that baby has protein X, that baby will get the vaccine, is exhilarating, it's exciting. And just to think that, you know, all this horror that we see every day that these children go through in the hospital wouldn't happen. That's astounding to me, to know that that's on the horizon, that we can prevent leukemia. Dr. Tebby's goal is to eradicate it like polio, you know, to have the child get a vaccine when they're born, and they'll never have to go through this.
When the dream begins with only dirt and becomes a thriving landscape full of color and life, Pine Lake Nursery and Landscape is proud of our work. When you walk around your neighborhood park and the sun is shining through the trees, Pine Lake Nursery and Landscape invites you to discover the difference. When you trust the expert to take care of your property like it was their own, and when our employees work together to create the perfect view for our clients, you understand why Pine Lake Nursery was ranked one of the top landscape companies in the area by the Business Observer. Certified as a minority-owned business and with a growing client base, Pine Lake Nursery and Landscape is proud to offer a wide range of services that can make any property a place of pride. Pine Lake Nursery and Landscape. Discover the difference.
Hi, I'm Ilmar Gavilán, a founding member of the Harlem Quartet and first violinist. I'm here with my family, a few minutes from New York City, and we'd like to welcome you to the 2020 Virtual Venetian Mask-erade. I want to personally thank everyone for being our community heroes and helping find cure to prevent childhood leukemia. Your donation and support will be very helpful as we continue this fight, because we can't do it without you. As we all go through this difficult pandemic, we must all remember that families with children that have pediatric cancer have an even harder time getting through these times. The Lawrence Martucci Benefit Corp supports the families of the children going through treatment. They also raise funding to support the research and lab of Dr. Tebby, who is close to finding the vaccine that will prevent childhood leukemia forever. Can you imagine what it would be like to eliminate pediatric cancer once and for all? Tonight, my family is excited to be playing a special piece chosen specifically for tonight. You all saw a preview of my movie where I was finally able to play live with my brother Aldo Lopez Gavilán. It was an even greater accomplishment to release an album that we will be giving away during this event. The piece that we chose to play is inspired from this album. However, instead of my brother playing the piano, I will be joined by my amazing children. We hope you enjoy and thank you again for attending tonight's virtual Venetian Masquerade.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you do well.
So I just want you to know, everyone in your office is a big liar.
What is this? Banging up on me?
It's for you.
This is the Liar Club.
This is the liar club. Your wife lied to you. I got everybody here to lie to you.
Okay,
You have a bunch of fake patients on your schedule. Just letting you know, you really don't have any patients.
You're not seeing Dr. Christie's
No.
kids.
No.
So no wonder she didn't want to tell me what was the about.
So, I am here to present you with the first annual.
Crying a bit.
Lawrence A. Martucci Hero Award. You're welcome. I'm crying.
Well, this is one of those bittersweet, in a way. My age tell me that I need to slow down, but I didn't want to do it at this time. So.
But your heart is so young.
I still will keep doing other things. So.
And these are your books.
I hold them, I balloon to my wife.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
So it's for exceptional service to our children for all these years. And do you want to say anything to our audience, because this is going to go live on Saturday?
Well, the only thing that I can say is what I have done is minimal compared to all the work that you have done for the children with cancer and a lot of things. So we will always follow you and help you in any which way we can. And
thank you.
God bless you for all the work you have done.
Thank you. And back to you also. And
your little brother should be very happy and proud of you.
Thank you. So he wants to make me cry some more, obviously. But I just wanted to say that, Dr. Colon has been in the Tampa Bay area working as a pediatrician. Just one of the few things that he has done. He's worked with Project World Health for over 20 years, giving free medical service to the impoverished in Dominican Republic, in Nicaragua, in Haiti, Cuba, you name it. And he truly deserves to be called a hero. Thank you.
And I'll talk to Alice if you knew about this.